everyone. Back again. Same old. On a Thursday. On a Thursday, so you guys can enjoy your Friday. I'm Marco Barron. This is
Eric Waldman.
Eric Waldman.
Nothing's changed.
It's 3 and Out. It's episode 5? 6?
6.
Oh my God.
Been doing this a while now.
Episode 6 as we head into week 5.
Still haven't seen my first paycheck, have you?
No, not a lot of sponsors yet.
We have to call our lawyer about that. Somebody's
yeah, but the branding's going well. New logo.
Branding's going well.
Right, so we're making...
Things are coming up. We're getting
making
wardrobe upgrades.
Yes, this was provided to you by Tim Brown. Reached out to me actually.
This was provided by Matt Vallow.
Wow. Okay,
Matt Vallow got me a shirt.
Tim Brown, Matt Vallow. I would say it's in my favor, but
well, up for debate.
So we'll see. Tonight we got a couple new segments for you. We're gonna break down the upcoming games again for Week 5, and of course. The third leg to our wheel is our guest.
Right. And
he's with us right now. He comes all the way. It's really not that far. He's from Long Island, and this is a guy that I personally don't like. I would say I'm just a...
Strong words.
Yeah.
To welcome on a guest.
Or maybe, do I like him? Do I not? I don't know. But either way, Pat Mead, you are on the show. What is going on, buddy?
Hey guys, Marco, I still love you. Huge fan. Been watching the show for years.
Wow. We haven't even been business for years, but I appreciate that. And you know what? A lot of our guests have been gracious, and let me take back what I said, folks. Pat Mead's a very dear friend to me, but his fantasy relevance is frustrating. It's very frustrating for me. But, just like we did with Shawnee, I got to give this kid the due. I got to bring him on the show.
Right.
We'll take a look at the team. We'll see what's going on. We'll see, hey, maybe you share some similarities with him for the viewers at home. Are you doing the right thing? Because if you are, you might be 4-0 like this. No, he's not, actually.
He's doing well. Sean was first place in Hank. Now you got Pat. He's first place.
Averaging
Mansion.
131.55 points a week.
Gaudy at 131.
Wow, that just sounds good.
That does.
Yeah, Pat, you obviously did well. And before I get into the logistics or the details, if you will, I want to go back to, as I do with most of my guests, the draft. Coming out of that, you had some feedback. You said, hey, I agree with a lot of your analysis, yada, yada, yada. But there were a couple points specifically, I think, that stood out to you. I haven't been made known to me yet, so I want to bring them on to the show, right off the cuff, live, no prep work. Tell us what you thought specifically. Give me, 1 or 2 strong points. You said, guys, I think you're really wrong on this. And then we'll see where we're at today.
All right. Well, I think with my draft in particular, which has been different than any other draft that I've had, is it went exactly as planned. There was no curveballs, 1 through 6, your most important rounds. It went exactly how I drew it up. As far as just something that I was, I guess, in disagreement, and it's not just you guys, Frank Gore. I got him in the 6th round. The dude is a reliable number 2 back. I think he's rated like the number 15 back right now. And he had injury problems there in his prime, but if you look going back to 2011, he's missed 1 game. So I think, considering I have guys like Bell and Green who are going to carry my team week to week, Gore is exactly what I wanted, a consistent high-end RB2.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think, honestly, what happened for me last year was the touchdowns weren't there, and obviously the 100-yard games aren't there. Last time the Colts had a 100-yard back was Vic Ballard. Back in 2012, so I think great name, nice fantasy stud at the end of the season, and I think rightfully so. I think we both felt like this guy's another year older. Great point on the injury concern.
Yeah. Because
you're absolutely correct. He's been a model of durability, despite what seems to be the perception in the fantasy world that he can't stay healthy.
I think Frank Gore just falls into the category of the boring.
Veteran.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, another thing about him is that there's nobody behind him. If you look at like a guy like Latavius Murray, who's got DeAndre Washington behind him, the rookie with serious upside, he's got skill. They want to give him the ball if the starter falters. There's nobody behind where you got Ronnie Turbin, who's a journeyman. Like, how old is he? Like 30? He's not good.
Yeah.
Ferguson's not good.
Yeah.
Like, Gordon's gonna get the ball. There's no one that's gonna get carries from him.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing to have as your RB2 while you're waiting on Bell to explode, and obviously that worked out for you because good lord, he came back and he looked like he hadn't missed a beat. Just
that 44-yard run was nasty. I think he juked a guy and he just broke his ankles. He went straight down.
Yeah, the pitter patter that he does behind his lines to just let the play develop.
He's very fluid.
Yeah. I wouldn't even call him elusive because I think that's an undersell. I think he is probably the most aesthetically pleasing runner in the game for me, bar none.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Not a choppy
he's
guy.
Very unique. Like, when he's, like, as you said, kind of waiting to play out, seeing what his blockers are doing, waiting to open up holes, somehow he's moving. Like, he looks like he's just floating on, like, one of those walk things in an airport, you know what I'm talking about? It's not an escalator, but
yes.
He's just like floating around, and then he just darts, and he's gone.
Right. Well, we know Bell is exceptional. You also hit on a lot of other guys here. Marvin Jones, obviously. Steve Smith now coming on strong, and you have two very strong waiver wire pickups here in Tyrell Williams and Terrence West, and I believe you picked up Rudolph as well. Yeah. So those are three guys who can start for you now. So not only did you do a great job drafting, in my opinion, but you've made some great moves on the wire as well. And I saw you snag Moncrief, you bastard. When do you think he's coming back?
I'm sorry, I had a feeling you were coming back in a week. You mentioned a few things. I guess what I would start out with Marvin. I kind of thought him and Tate would be 1 and 1A, as everyone was saying. I kind of gave the edge to Marvin just because of ADP. He was going end of 5, beginning of 6, and Tate was like 3, I think.
Yes.
But I was not expecting Tate to be 5th in receiving on Detroit, but it was really just volume for me in that offense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Tyrell, a little disappointed in the last week because he played, I think it was New Orleans. I was kind of hoping he'd go off.
Yeah, his arrow's trending down a little bit, but I think the three of us agree, the upside's still there. He's a big dude. He's shown something in the last, weeks that he's played.
For me, the targets are still there.
Right.
He's getting red zone looks too. I don't see any reason why to fall off the Tyrell bandwagon.
Yeah.
I mean, he got 8 targets last week, 9 the week before.
Right.
He's a big play waiting to happen.
I think the three of them, that 3-man carousel is probably going to go a little bit back and forth between the breakout games, and hopefully in their off weeks they don't kill you. And on that offense, I find this offense one of the most fascinating in the league. Because they've been able to maintain such prowess despite the injuries.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean,
either of you two?
Allen, Woodhead, Gates, like those are your 3 top targets, and they keep spreading the ball around to everybody.
Absolutely correct. And what I'll ask you now, Patrick, is because this is a hot topic, are you a sell high on Melvin Gordon, or are you buying him? Or do you value him? Or are you thinking, a lot of his carries have been for less than 3 yards, or this is a guy who's dependent on 1-yard plunges?
I would definitely be buying into his stock at this point. I mean, his yards per carry isn't great, but there's not too much going on behind him. He's kind of shown he can pass block, he can catch out of the backfield. Woodhead's gone, not going to take that aspect from his game, and the volume's going to be there. The offense, like you said, is still moving it even without key cogs. I think he's definitely, I would say, middle of the run for the RB1 moving forward.
What wide receiver would you be willing to give up? Not necessarily on your team, but just give you a sense of his value right now. he's tough. I mean, but if you're a buyer, then you might be willing to pay, a pretty penny.
Well, I mean, yeah, so I don't think he's really a need. I don't think he's really on my trade outlook, but I would say, if I'm valuing him as a solid RB1, I got to be willing to give up like a Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is like a back end wide receiver 1 at this point.
Wow.
So I think that'd be pretty fair.
I agree.
Wow. I personally am head over heels for Jones at this point. Again, I'll say this for the rest of the year for every episode. The fact that I have zero stock in him, it troubles me. It makes the weekends very difficult and painful for me.
Pat, as a Decker owner, I'm a Decker owner as well. I'm also a Jets fan. What are your thoughts concerning the shoulder injury, the torn labrum? Do you think he'll come back? Do you think he'll be any good? What are your thoughts?
So on the whole, my fantasy mantra has always been wide receivers, especially with our 0.5 PPR. So I have depth there, so I'm not too concerned. But in specific, it is concerning. If Decker's a guy that I was really counting on, he says this is an injury I'm going to have for the season.
Yeah.
This is getting worse. It hurts when I sleep on it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it hurts when you sleep on it, and then you're going to have 225-pound strong faces coming at you full speed, that's going to be an issue even when you're ready to play. So,
yeah, and the kid knows that he needs surgery too. He's like, I have to have surgery. I just don't know if it's now or at the end of the season. So it doesn't bode well.
It's sounding like he's going to try and come back next week.
Right.
And I could easily see in and out, pain, really kind of stopping his game where he excels, kind of going up for the catch in the end zone.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's definitely an issue if you're counting on Decker moving forward.
Gotcha. All right, before I send you out, I'm going to let you and Eric have at it. What's going on with the Jets? Is this season already over?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very astute.
It's pretty simple. Well, there's a number of things, but the worst, and what really confused me, is the secondary is atrocious.
Yeah.
We have, in my opinion, the best defensive line in the NFL.
Yeah.
I said it. And our defense right now is average at best because our secondary is so impressively bad that they're able to bring them down that much. I think their secondary is a bottom 5 in the league secondary, and I just don't understand how. I mean, you still have Revis. He's not the old Revis. You have Screen, who's a proven, slot corner. You have targeting Pryor. Gilchrist has always been in the league. So I don't know, all of a sudden they all started sucking or what, but they're awful.
I agree with you, Pat, on pretty much everything you said. It's really upsetting. I knew I had a couple concerns about the secondary going into the year, but for it to fall off like this is it's depressing.
Yeah.
And it's just bringing everything else down with it. Because our D-line can't shine. Revis's drop-off puts a little more pressure on everybody else.
Right.
And maybe those guys are just getting exposed now, as is Revis. And really, maybe they just weren't as good. I don't know. And Pryor, I had high hopes for Calvin Pryor, too. It seems like every other play, somebody's running by him. He can't cover anybody.
He can't cover.
He can't cover.
Playing at the NFL game. I mean, what teams are worse? I mean, the only teams I can think of that are worse in the secondary are like New Orleans, the Colts, Oakland, and Washington.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? The Chargers might be right there soon with the loss of Jason Verrett.
Yeah.
It's bad. And what concerns me is what do you guys do next year? Fitz has obviously got to go. You need to start fresh there. But are any of these rookies ready? This could be a bad team for the next 3 or 4 years now.
Take it easy. The NFL things are very fluid.
You know, I'm very upset if I'm a Jets fan right now.
And they're kind of the O-line is still good, but getting old, so you got to kind of start.
That's right. You're right. That's a great point too. The whole.
I think it's too
soon
to put a stamp on that. Well, you got to see how the rest of the season plays out. Who knows? Maybe we'll see one of the younger guys play quarterback later down the road. You don't know what you're gonna get. We're only a quarter of the way through, but point is things are looking pretty shitty for our gangrene right now.
Yeah. And last question. I don't want to get into. We're going to talk about the games at the end of the show, but for you, I'm going to ask you one question, Patrick. Pittsburgh at home, 7-point favorites. Who you taking against the spread?
That's only 7? Wow, I think they're going to get embarrassed.
Well, there's your lock of the week then.
Yeah, there you go.
Brought to you by Patrick Neal Mead. Okay, well, yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
great.
thanks for coming on, Pat. Thanks for being a
Absolutely.
good
We know it's late, so we appreciate the heck out of it. And again, I hate you and good luck.
Well, I love you too.
All right.
All right, take care, Pat. Be good.
Peace. Okay. So yeah, obviously the kid, he has talent. The team is stacked.
right now. Holy
It's-
shit!
It's going to be another win this week for him. To get AJ Green where
He
he
has
did.
no holes in his lineup.
Right. He could have been.
It's like literally. Oh man.
Yeah, that guy, and this is what we're talking about. We
I mean,
keep
my team's
pressing.
pretty goddamn good in this league too.
We'll talk
Not
about that
gonna
too.
lie, but
What's funny though is as good as
His
your
team is
team
good.
is, I mean,
His team is good.
it has an embarrassingly low point total up until this point.
right, but
It's
you got my team at this point
sure,
in the season.
sure, folks, sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm looking up
Okay,
now.
all
We'll
right.
talk about our teams a little bit,
All right.
which we weren't planning on, but
All right.
clearly things are getting a little feisty.
Okay.
Honestly, what does it for him is obviously Tyrell's a nice little sneaky pickup, and Moncrief is sneaky good. Assuming he doesn't need to drop
People
anyone.
don't spend any money on waivers in this league.
That's
though.
right.
Like he's got these guys for dirt cheap. Like,
Kyle Rudolph and Terrence West could be playoff game changers for him. And Rudolph might have a touchdown every single week.
Yeah.
They do nothing but go to him in the red zone.
Rudolph is like the second ranked or the third ranked tight end.
Guys, you need to start pulling the trigger on your gut. You cannot sit around anymore because this is how you build winners right here. All right.
You're saving your money, and then before you know it, you're 3-6, and you're out of the playoffs.
That's
and then
absolutely
you're not
correct.
spending any
What's
money
$70 going to do you at that point in the season?
Right.
Are you going to blow 40 on
All right.
Bryce Brown? Okay.
Let's move it. Let's talk about this trade.
Oh, okay. I had planned to go elsewhere, but
let's stick in the mansion.
okay.
Let's stick around the mansion for a second.
Sure.
I want to discuss this abomination that you made. You pulled this crap off. I don't know how you did it. Guys, Marco has traded Will Fuller, Eddie Lacy, and Ryan Mathews. Again, Will Fuller, Eddie Lacy, Ryan Mathews for Kelvin Benjamin and Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice...
What was the discussion here? I just don't understand. You're getting a wide receiver 1, an RB 1 for Will Fuller. Yes, he's having a good year, but Eddie Lacy, okay, hasn't scored a touchdown yet. RB 2 maybe, and Mathews,
He's poo-poo to me. I don't care. So to me, you're getting the best 2 players in the trade. I don't see where... I don't see the balance. I don't see it at all.
Well, first of all, let me start by saying... that was...
You blew that one.
was really...
You blew that one.
Just not epic at all. There we go. Okay. So I'll start by saying, do I like the trade? Yes.
Do you like the
Do
trade?
I love
What the hell
trade?
is that?
Yes. Okay. This was a safety, Arizona safety, by the way. So if you had Arizona defense, nice job. This game's gotten out of hand, folks. So obviously, he reached out to me.
What did he say?
Right, he was interested in Will Fuller. That's
Okay.
his guy.
Okay.
And Ryan Mathews he likes. I don't know if it's because of the matchup. I still like Ryan Mathews. I still have shares of him everywhere else.
Did he like him because he think he could get him at a discounted price after the buy and all the talk of
I
Wendell
think so.
Smallwood?
So first offer
Because
came
this
out.
is not a discount.
First offer came out, and I didn't like it.
What was it?
I don't remember. But
Oh,
I,
you don't remember
I
the
don't know.
details now.
no, I don't.
Oh man,
I
this story gets better.
Okay, so it was for it was for C.J. Anderson and Nelson Aguilar. And I said, hell no.
This trio of guys.
No, the duo of Fuller and Mathews.
Fuller and Mathews for who?
And for C.J. Anderson and Nelson Aguilar.
Okay, so in this league, C.J. Anderson is the only viable player in that trade. Aguilar belongs.
That's what I said. I said Aguilar is waiver fodder.
Yeah.
Don't want him. I said if I'm going to make a trade, then I want it to be for a stud. I want to consolidate.
And then you got two. He got generous.
Yes, and that was that was the offer that came out. I liked it. It did take me a little bit of time. I had to make a call to someone and confirm, like, is this? Am I overthinking this? Is this not like? Should I say yes?
Who'd you call?
Ghostbusters. No, I called my fiance. Yes, I called Chris DeGioia.
And he said absolutely and hung up the phone on you, probably.
Well, the first thing he said was, "Didn't I tell you about Will Fuller 4 months ago?" The guy, huge, big Notre Dame fan, and so he's been on Will Fuller's hubba for a while. And then listen, so he comes at that and he says, "I want one of your top wide receivers." I said, "Okay." Obviously, as much of a man, like borderline sexual crush that I have on Will Fuller, I was literally about to buy the jersey. I obviously prefer Jordy and OBJ over that. Although I might come to regret that. There's a good chance, folks, that Will Fuller rest of season is more effective than Odell Beckham Jr.
There's zero chance.
But anyway, I think these are guys on the up.
Really, just say that?
Yeah. Do you want to side bet? Shall
$2 million.
Okay, well, we'll do a realistic bet for you guys. I'll take that. Rest of season.
Okay.
William Fuller or OBJ. So that's what went through. Guys, this is what happens when you offer him. People continually offer him frustratingly bad offers that are not realistic, and he says, "You know what? The hell with it."
Okay, rewind a little bit, because I had told you I had offered him a trade as well, because I wanted to go after one of his guys, or a couple of his guys that I liked. I wanted Anderson, because he's coming off 2 mediocre games and his schedule lightens up, so I thought I'd get a little discount on him. I was going for Anderson.
Sure.
And then I wanted Hogan as the back end.
Sure,
piece.
you did, and I think he knows damn well that Hogan's on the up and up.
For my 2 middling pieces. Well, it's you don't know.
Who do you consider middling pieces, Eric?
My 2 middling pieces were Rashad Jennings and Randall Cobb.
Wow, middling is a strong word nowadays. My goodness,
middling pieces, but
Cobb might be droppable.
No, I mean, yeah, he's pretty bad right now.
Oh my God!
But coming off the bye, they have a stretch of home games. I expected some production, at least flex worthy in this league. But I thought at least it could be a starting point for something. But then to just go and accept this.
You know what? We'll do him his due justice. We'll have him on the show. We'll make do for his schedule. He's got a tough schedule. He's not probably not awake right now, but we will find a way to get in his head and let him defend himself. I think that's the least that we can do.
Yeah, I gotta hear from him.
But yeah, I'm excited. I think my team gets better, and I think thus far I squeaked out a disgusting win last week against Ben.
He was probably mad because I beat him by like 0.4 last week.
That's right.
Too, so he didn't want to help me out.
He was the saltiest guy on planet Earth. Saltier than the Dead Sea, folks. It was
a great win because he had somebody. Oh, he had Victor Cruz in the Monday night game, and Cruz had like 8 drops or something. Right. It was fantastic.
And meanwhile, I obviously squeaked out a win against. Not obviously, you don't know this, but now you know. Jarek McKinnon pops in a 3-yard touchdown. Somehow gets goal line instead of that literally won me the game because Odell, for the first time in his career, fails to catch 4 passes.
Yeah.
I think I needed 15 points or 20, something like that. I thought I had it easy.
Between Odell and McKinnon.
I had to work for it. Ugly win, 89-86. I'll take it, and we're moving on.
All right, our new segment. You want to introduce it?
Yeah, and it's kind of a segue. We kind of talked about it a little bit from over here.
Yeah.
It's called Cut Bait or Keep the Weight. we're going to answer some of these tough questions, these roster questions that you might be having, which is basically saying, hey, I got guys that are underperforming right now, or maybe they're hurt. What do I do with them? Is it time to cut bait, or do you keep on that wave?
All
Okay,
right.
I'm going to give you the first name. This is a hot name this week.
Throw it at me.
Latavius Murray.
Latavius Murray.
Give us a brief little,
Okay,
what
so
happened to him?
Latavius, the news came out midweek that he had sustained a toe injury. He was in a walking boot. He was not practicing. I don't think he practiced today either.
Did not practice today.
So obviously,
Turf toe,
is it a turf toe injury?
which lingers, as you know.
Well, any injury to the foot for a running back receiver
Not
is gonna
Not good.
leg, foot, anything that involves running.
That's
Pretty
right.
sure the feet are important to that. If I had to guess, it's a multi-week injury.
He says, I agree, but he says, the team's saying that he is going to try and play this week. So it's an upgrade from Adam Schefter's report,
Yeah.
which was doubtful.
Do you? I don't believe that at all.
I don't buy
I
it.
don't believe it. At all.
I don't think you can buy it, and I think this is exactly what Jack Del Rio, big sack Del Rio,
Yeah.
3-1. I'll talk about that later. But I think this is exactly what he wanted. He said, let me get my two best backs on there. Washington's averaging 6 yards a carry. Richard's averaging 8.
Yeah.
And Murray behind one of the best offensive lines is averaging 3 yards a carry.
Can't do
It's
it.
unacceptable.
So either way, it opens the window up for the two backups, the two rookies.
Yes.
They're expected to split the work.
Yep.
Which I think is smart.
Although I think 60-40 share, I think DeAndre, his role was already supposed to expand last week.
Maybe, yeah, but he also had the fumble.
I know the fumble.
I don't know. We'll see. It could be 60-40, it could be 50-50.
Fine.
Either way, I think they're both guys you can plug into your lineup this week against a bad. Who are they playing in?
The Chargers.
Chargers, yes.
Which is a great
Chargers.
matchup. Great matchup.
Yeah.
On
So for me, Latavius, if you have the room, keep him to see what the injury news develops. But if you got to make a move, I would not be upset with cutting him.
And that's exactly what's going to have to happen with me. I think
Like our leagues with the 4-player bench,
Yeah.
I would cut him.
Right. Yeah. 4-player bench, or if you're holding on to 2 or 3 guys who are hurt, who you're waiting for to come back or
Yeah.
something like that, it's time to
Like if you got
this
if you're
I
like
see,
me and you got Dez and Decker on your bench,
right.
I would drop Latavius before dropping either of them. Easily.
Right, and I see this as a Jordan Howard situation 2.0, where DeAndre comes on and just runs away with that job.
Yeah, I could see that.
In a nice cupcake matchup like Jordan Howard had last week.
Yeah. And then even when Latavius is healthy, there's no reason for them to switch away from that. So
Correct. So,
plus he just wasn't that good.
he wasn't that good.
Anyway.
His snap count actually was still steady,
Yeah.
but obviously his touches had significantly decreased week to week. So that a good segue into our next guy, which is Jeremy Langford.
Langford.
Is this even a question?
Cut.
Done.
We
Conversation
need to
over.
discuss Howard's a better running back.
Right. Yeah. That is
He's
it.
just better than Langford.
Yeah. So I blew that. It's another of my blown calls. 5th round pick. But sorry, you got to cut him. That's it. Next guy, a guy that I love to rip. Is it time to drop Golden Tate?
I don't expect him
Just
to be
as like
bad all
a
year.
feel good cut.
I don't have any Tate shares.
Just to rip the Band-Aid off and be done.
I've inquired about buying him to see what
So
the
you're
price is.
looking on the
Just what the price is.
Sure.
I think that's a smart move. Because he surely can't get any worse unless he's straight up benched.
That's right.
But
Jim Bob.
Cooter came out and said
Yes,
he's
he
expecting
did.
a big week out of
Yes,
his
he
boy.
did. So
I don't know.
this is a
Coaches
very
say
interesting.
that crap all the time.
Yeah, I mean, is this wheel getting greased? The squeaky wheel getting greased, as they say. I'm not sure. Your situation depends on what your bench spots are like, what your needs are. If you if you take this.
Yeah.
If you have an empty spot in your starting lineup because you're being ravaged by Allen Robinson's bye, Spencer Ware's bye, something like that.
The Seahawks buy. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin's
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
Do you do you drop him then to fill up a roster spot? I don't even know if that scenario makes sense.
Do I drop Tate?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here's the scenario. Would you
Yeah.
drop Tate for DeAndre Washington?
Yes.
What about Jalen Richard?
No.
Okay. So
I
there's
feel-
the line for you?
That's the line for
All
me.
right. For me, I think Tate is still a keep unless you absolutely need to fill.
Okay.
You gotta hold him. You gotta
Fine.
hold him.
But guys, I think you're gonna see more of the same. I mean, what one catch last week, and
All
then
right.
a
Who's your
2-point
next
first.
guy?
Tommy Rawls. Tommy Rawls.
Rawls, drop.
I think it's a quick conversation.
Michael's run away with the job.
Another pick that I just blew, and you blew too. We both
Well, at
blew
least
in different. You cuffed.
I cuffed.
And
you,
I did
Michael.
not cuff.
You did not cuff. You got to cuff.
I don't know how someone can get so absent-minded in the middle of a draft. I wasn't even playing music for the league, so I just
You
it
blew
sucks.
it.
I blew it.
Okay.
Rawls is an
We'll
easy
see.
drop. Michael holds on to that job. Ryan Mathews. There was the. Let me tell you. I'll
Yeah.
pause real quick. Roto World
Uh-huh.
and Yahoo, Brad Evans
Uh-huh.
are shouting the whole week.
Smallwood?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I love Smallwood.
They could not get their mouth off Wendell Smallwood.
Uh-huh.
And
That's pretty good.
you know, they could not. They absolutely cannot hop off this guy's D. And are Evans has got him as a flame this week.
Dude,
I mean,
first of all,
good
he's
Lord,
terrible. with
He
that
sucks.
Shit. You look at his season record.
It's well below 500. We'll start keeping track ourselves. My God, it's atrocious.
Okay, so for Mathews, I think you got to see how this week shakes out.
This is a huge week. Lions defense.
Yeah.
Ziggy Ansah not in the picture. I mean, if he does, that's it right there.
You got to
If
see
he
how
does
this
not
week shakes
perform
out.
this week, it's a cut.
Well, not even necessarily perform, but I think just see how the breakdown
Okay.
works out.
What I will
Because
add,
they could be like,
Sure.
oh, we're very concerned about Matthews staying healthy all year, so we're only going to give him 10 touches
Right,
from
right,
here
right.
on out.
this is what Douglas Peterson said that was not reported until very late this week. After the Smallwood news had come up, which is basically that Doug Peterson himself said, I want to get Mathews the same amount of touches that he had in game 1.
Okay.
That's who we want to be.
Okay.
So, as an owner, it gives me a little bit relief to say, okay, I think he's a believer. And I'm sorry, I love watching the kid. Ron Eric, he hits people hard.
Yeah, he's always been a talent.
Really explosive. So I mean,
He's always got some kind of nonsense going on
Yeah,
around him, though.
I
Like,
know.
there's always something with him.
I know.
Always something.
I wish, honestly, he'd just run away with the job early on,
Yeah,
but
I know.
whatever. I don't see why I didn't know. Great game 1 and game 2. You have one bad game, and all of a sudden your career's on the line.
It could have been like an
ridiculous.
injury that they kept on the low, which is why I think in week 3 he didn't play because he had that injury.
Okay.
And you know what? Week 2 against Chicago, he only went 9 for 32. The 2 touchdowns saved him.
Right, but that first touchdown one was incredible.
All right, I
The
didn't see
bounce, he bounced into the line and then just bounced out. It was really nice.
it. Bouncing all over.
He bounced all over the place. Last guy, Odell Beckham Jr. I'm totally kidding. Don't drop him. Moncrief, again, depends on your roster spot.
Moncrief, I dropped him right when he got hurt.
That's right.
I needed to make the space.
And the thing.
It's hard in our 4 bench,
Really tough.
4-player bench with the buys. It's
Yeah.
really hard to hold on to a guy
Non-keeper,
like that.
yeah, of course. Eric Deck, I think this year's in jeopardy. But I think you got to hold until
I
you get some more
agree.
definitive
It's
news.
a hold, though. You can't.
It's a hold because they're looking at it like, oh, he's doubtful for this week. Like, they're not saying, like, oh, no, he's out for
Yeah.
the next 6 weeks or something like that. So,
You know, they're. It's kind of a Jets thing to do. They're like holding on to hope for the season. They're like, oh, Decker will be back, and then we'll be good again. Like,
and I'm going to flip the script.
no,
I think he's done for the year.
I don't. Yeah, even if
He's not gonna be
even if
effective,
he's
yeah.
playing, I don't know how effective he'll be. He's a really tough guy. He's played through injuries before. 2 years ago, he had another shoulder injury that he played through almost the entire season.
Right.
But he was not as effective, and we saw it. His numbers reflect that in comparison to last year as well.
Right.
But yeah, Decker is definitely a hold
Okay.
until more news comes out.
All right, next segment. So that was, now you know. If you got any of these guys, hold or keep, that's what you got to do. I like this section. We're a quarter of the way through the league, through the year.
Yeah.
Some of you are 0-4. Some of you are 4-0, and some of you fall in between. and it's going to have to do with these guys right here. I want to go through your quarter of the year MVPs and LVPs. And what we've done, folks, is independently, without discussing, we've chosen our MVP at each position and our, we'll call it Prince, I don't know, whatever is below the King, MVP, whatever. The second guy for that position. And then same thing with LVP. Who's your top LVP for the position, and then who's that runner-up for you that just really has blown the load so far. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Blowing the load is a good thing.
Right.
Right? Because of sex.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this case, they've really blown their load all over your team. That makes more sense. So, quarterback, give me your MVP and your Prince.
I think Matt Ryan's got to be the MVP.
And I agree. We're one for
Right.
one. We're one for one.
Okay. He hasn't had a down week. He's just been torching everybody.
Yes.
I think that's an obvious one. And my number 2 guy, quarterback, Derek Carr.
Yes! Two for two!
Very consistent.
2 for 2.
High-octane offense.
He is Pro Football Focus's top-rated quarterback.
Is he?
He has the most comeback drives over the past 2 years. He's literally, I think in fantasy, he's the number 4 or 5 quarterback behind...
He's top 5.
Top 5 for
top
sure.
5. Yeah.
But by NFL standards, he's a top quarterback.
But considering where he's drafted, too.
He was
one of the later guys, too.
And for me, it makes me feel a little less. But remember, guys, I drafted Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
And then I watched that preseason game where he was throwing interceptions in the red zone.
Yeah.
There was nothing which really said, oh, Matt Ryan's going to come back this year. There was nothing. So I went to Derek Carr because of that schedule. I don't think it's killing me, but obviously I wish I had held on. But
sure,
the alternative is not.
But obviously you're not crying over having
Great.
Derek.
All right, so we're 2 for 2. I like that.
All right.
Running back. Who is your star of the year so far?
Running back, MVP.
Yes.
Yeah, these 2 guys were very close for
Okay.
me. But number 1, I got to go Melvin Gordon.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
And my number 2 guy is Isaiah Crowell.
I hate Isaiah Crowell.
You got Crowell, okay.
I did Crowell. What I'm gonna go with as my RB1 is DeMarco Murray.
He was my other choice
who
too.
I have just been relentless on both of them.
He's the best running back in the league right now, right?
And that's what put it over the edge for me.
Yeah.
Also because I think that, and we'll ask you as well, but I think that the Murray metrics are real. I think he is legit, and I think barring any injury, this success should be sustained.
Yeah.
With Melvin, the line is bad. A lot of his runs are bad.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get down to the 1 yard line, I don't know that he's going to be... he's on pace for like 20 touchdowns.
The offense can still move the ball in
Yeah.
San Diego.
That's right.
And he is the guy. He's going to catch the ball. He gets all the carries. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I'll take Murray.
Okay.
He's a better runner.
It's a sell high for me because, I mean, you heard from Pat Mead. He said he's in the Marvin Jones range. If you can get Marvin Jones for Melvin Gordon, do it now. Do it yesterday. Don't even hesitate for me. So, all right. So we are 3 for 4. I love that.
Okay.
Wide receiver. I think we're gonna have some differing opinions just because there's so many players at the position.
I don't know. I think it might be. Well, I know one guy you're not going to pick.
Okay.
But number 1 has got to be Marvin Jones.
We agree again.
Okay.
Okay. Marvin Jones.
I think that's an obvious one. He hasn't had a down week.
5th round. I mean, it was amazing.
He had 40 points, something like that in week 3.
Packers.
Double digits every week.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And my number 2, who I believe is a top 10 guy right now, Michael Crabtree.
I would almost put Michael Crabtree.
Yeah.
I literally, but you know what?
What?
I can't get soft for Will Fuller. I can't do it.
Okay.
And this is a guy, Will Fuller the 4th or whatever it is, absolute stud, and he's gonna finish better than OBJ rest of the season.
Oh my God.
Book it. All right, so I'm
horrendous.
impressed so far. We are on the same page. Tight end's interesting.
Can I go back to Crabtree just for a second? Are you ready to admit that I was right in saying Crabtree is the number 1 receiver on that team?
I wanted to talk about that later when we went to the Raiders.
Okay.
The week. But I'll say now. Rest of season, I'm still gonna take Cooper.
What?
And here's why.
Why?
Here's why. Because I think that Cooper is just too physically good to be in this position. Crabtree is just not as physically gifted. And I think you might see what happened last year, which is that after the midpoint season, he fizzles out a little bit.
Okay.
So rest of season, I still like Cooper, but obviously, totally in agreement that I almost put him again. If I hadn't hit on Fuller myself, I would have put Crabtree.
Crabtree, 4 touchdowns on the year.
I know. 3 in 1 week though.
37 targets.
I know.
He's got double-digit targets back-to-back weeks.
That's a good sign.
At least 7 catches in 3 out of 4 weeks, and he's got at least 87 yards in 3 out of 4 weeks.
That's very impressive.
It's very good.
Yeah, I could definitely be eating my words. I'm very biased. I won't hop off Cooper's.
Do you? I think another thing working in Crabtree's favor is that I think opposing teams think like you, and they say Cooper's the guy we have to stop.
Right.
So he's seeing secondary coverage.
Well, I agree. I completely agree. But now is his reputation starting to show a little bit like, whoa, this is the touchdown guy. Him and Seth Roberts. Are the touchdown guys. Maybe we got a scheme for this guy a little bit.
Maybe.
All right, so we're in agreement there.
So going to tight ends.
Tight ends.
I think one of these guys is pretty obvious. The other, it was really hard finding 2 guys who I could call MVPs. But my number 1, Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph, easy
Wasn't
MVP.
even drafted.
Well, yeah, wasn't
in
drafted.
most leagues,
He's
so
going to be a touchdown every week.
I think he might be double digits every week too,
Yeah,
just because it was touchdowns. And
right.
his,
And beyond the
consistency.
touchdowns, he's getting targets in the middle of the field. Like he's Sam Bradford's safety net. He's just the guy. And now you're seeing a little bit of regression from Diggs a little bit. I don't know if it's the matchup, but it's Rudolph who's becoming the
go-to
The
in
go-to.
a lot of situations.
That's right.
And then my number 2, a guy I got to give it up to. Shout out to Verdi here.
Greg Olsen!
Greg Olsen.
That's what I put too!
Greg Olsen's been great.
Greg
so
Olsen
far.
has been fantastic.
He's been great.
And you know what? It goes to show. Listen, you got to. Sometimes you just got to take the best available.
Yeah.
And if it's the number 1 guy at his position, as opposed to the 26th receiver at their
Yeah.
position,
And he's done it again this year.
so eating my words, I might think differently next year. We'll see.
Nice job. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
We only missed on 2 guys.
yeah, and we both agreed that we were close.
We were
to,
close on picking them.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't ask you, but defense.
I didn't go for defense.
I think.
But I think the Vikings.
the Vikings number 1. There we go.
They were a pickup, pretty much.
correct. Absolutely correct.
And then the only other defense off the top of my head that's really been that impactful is the Denver defense.
Agreed, and I was going to put that. The only reason why I put a different answer is because I looked up the stats and just based on ranking, the
What is it?
Bills are actually
Really?
really good.
Really?
Despite getting obliterated by the Jets, the Bills are like the 2nd ranked defense or something like that.
Okay.
So shout out to the Bills. Shout out to Rex Ryan for turning that team around. Shout out to LaShawn McCoy for stepping it up this year.
Yeah.
And shout out to Robert Woods, who, if you haven't gotten him,
Oh, I'm
folks.
so pissed I didn't get it.
Ooh, I bet heavy. I spent a lot of money this week in FFP, folks. A lot of money. And someone was on it. Let's go to our LVPs. I think we're going to agree on a lot of these too, although we both had our hearts broken so much this year that we might have some differerences.
All right.
Because this could be very personal for the both of us. Quarterback, who's your LVP?
Oh. I'll be honest, I didn't write it down, but off the top of my head, I can go to my team right away and tell you Carson Palmer has sucked a fat one for me.
Carson
He's
Palmer
fucking miserable.
is my number 1 loser.
Okay.
Loser at the quarterback position. And he just missed tonight's game. He could have had a game against the Niners. He sucks, honestly.
I don't know what's been up with the Cardinals, but they just put up, what did they put up, 31 tonight?
Yes.
The Cardinals?
They just 33 because of the safety.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Cardinals defense. Depending on your league settings, they would have given you 15 points. Strong start for me. I will take that. I'll give you a second to get your LVP. You know what? Skip quarterback. I'll go on my second guy and just pick your running backs.
All right, sounds good.
While he's doing that for me, there's a couple of guys you could have put here. I think the number 1 guy for me is Russell Wilson. Last week, really encouraging. Top 3 performance. But if you guys are 1 and 3, because you drafted Russell Wilson as like the third quarterback off the board, you're pretty disappointed. The injuries have piled up. Hopefully last week is a sign that something is going to improve. He has a bye week this week to get healthy. So not saying rest of year that I'm bullish or bearish rather, but as just a first quarter stands, it's Russell Wilson for me. You could have said Kirk Cousins too. I think he's been pretty disappointing. I think the experts will say that the metrics are there for him. He's throwing the ball a lot still, this and that. Jordan Reed looks better now, but he's been disappointing just from a rankings perspective. Are you ready?
I got a couple of running backs for you. I got a few receivers for you, and I
Okay.
definitely have a tight end for you.
Oh, I got a tight end. I think we'll agree on tight end. So let's go to running back. Who's your bust? Number one loser.
Two easy ones.
Very easy, I think.
Todd Gurley.
Toddson Gurley, number one
Todd Gurley.
loser.
We were both pretty low on coming
Yeah,
into the year.
yeah. I'm proud of us.
We
That was not.
we predicted this perfectly.
That's right. It was not an easy situation to say that he was going to be bad because you had experts like being like, no,
Oh,
I'm taking him like the first
He's
running
so
back.
talented.
I might take him first. Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
no.
Andy Barron's shout out to
Although
you.
the Rams are improved, I don't know how they're 3-1.
3-1.
But Gurley has yet to have that pop game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He had the cheap 2-touchdown game against the Bucs.
Yeah.
But you take
But
away the
even if
1
he
yard
does,
plunges.
even if he does have the big pop off game
Yeah.
where he can go for 150 and 2 touchdowns, whatever, does that offset the other weeks where he's going
No.
20 for 40?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
He's your first. He went in the first round in every draft.
Right.
I think there you really want a lot more consistency.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm not looking for freaking 20 carries for 51 yards. Like that's
So he's my least valuable for
oh my
sure.
God, his yards after contact are almost as high as his yards. Period.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. Who's your second guy?
Jamal Charles.
Good one.
I think people expected him back a lot earlier than he's gonna get back,
Yeah.
and he's giving you nothing so far. I knew I had to invest a second round pick, to
which
get him.
at the time we were like, oh, what great value.
Yeah,
Blah blah
yeah.
blah blah. It's like actually kind of might
Because
kill
people
the
just
draft.
assumed he'd come back
Sure.
and slide right back in.
Yeah. So they're on bye this week.
And that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he comes in this week and gets a full load. Like, I don't think Spencer Ware's going away.
No,
so-
I don't think there's any reason for Ware to go away.
Yeah, he's been on a per play basis. Ware is the epitome of efficiency. I think
Yeah.
he's earned that respect from.
So
Coach
who'd you
Reed.
have at running back? 'Cause
I
you
had
didn't have-
Rashad Jennings
Ooh.
as a guy
Yeah, he
who
is.
people.
Yeah.
Sure, the price wasn't that high, but it
Yeah.
still was like a 6th round pick. This was a guy everyone was expecting to be huge after
I
last
was,
year's.
for sure.
You know, so Rashad
I got
Jennings.
him in the 7th in the mansion, but yeah, 6th, 7th round sounds
Yeah.
about right. And the hopes were high. On
Really
him.
high, yeah. I mean, this might have been a guy that people put off running back for a while,
Yeah.
waiting for someone like this. That hurts your team if that's your strategy.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking through the draft results now. There are quite a few running backs. I mean, injuries do play a factor.
Yes, but just from
but
a
there's
pure
quite a
boss
few.
perspective, I'm
Yeah.
not. Obviously Langford, that was bad.
Okay.
Can
Can I go for my wide receivers?
Yes.
I wrote down a bunch of wide receivers.
Wide receiver.
actually.
Go for it. Give me your top two. We'll see if we agree.
Number 1, I think Hopkins.
Thought about it, didn't put it, but agree.
Didn't want to put it. I think he's been pretty goddamn disappointing if
He
you
has.
took him in the first half of the first round.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Who's he have? Either the same amount or slightly less, or maybe just above the same targets as Fuller.
Yeah,
Fuller's just looking
Fuller
like
has
a guy there.
totally outperformed him.
Yeah.
Hopkins only has 17 catches for 227, 2 touchdowns. The last 2 weeks have been real bad for him.
Right.
He had a good game week 2.
He did.
Week 1, he had a solid effort.
I think it
mean,
was
he
okay.
went 5 for 54. The touchdown really saved it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's looking tough. His next 3 weeks too. He's at Minnesota. Then he's got Indianapolis, where he'll match up with Vontae Davis, and then
Right.
he's in Denver. Then he's got Detroit, so maybe
Will
that's a game.
Fuller could take the top off the Colts that game. That might be his first career 200-yard game right there.
Okay.
Very sad to part with.
Right.
I put Odell Beckham just because it hurt so badly right
Okay.
here.
I think this is the week Odell pops off.
That's what we're hoping.
Against the shitty
29th,
secondary.
29th ranked secondary.
Primetime spot. Just seems right.
Seems like a
right.
good fit.
Seems right.
Be interesting to talk about that game though. I had some viewers ask me, "What do you think about that game? Who are you gonna take?" We'll talk about
We'll
it.
get to it.
Tough.
We'll get to it.
So OBJ for me, second one, no question. Michael Floyd, who
I
put
had
up
Floyd down
0
there, too.
points tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of expected with Stanton, and he's just been falling off.
Yeah, but come on, 0 can't. He looks like
If you're
crap.
starting Floyd, you're in a pretty tough spot right now.
There were big expectations for him.
There were a lot.
There were huge expectations for him.
Yeah.
He's been nothing.
But
but
you know, I had Fitz as the number
Everything, so.
one, and then if I had to choose between Brown and Floyd, I mean, maybe there's a toss up. I like Floyd.
Jonathan Brown
So,
has now had 2 good games in a row.
Yeah.
Last game, 10 catches, 144.
10 catches.
Yes.
That's a lot of catches.
So very quietly on the up and up.
Yeah.
Probably I didn't see the line on him this game, but I'm sure he had more than 0 catches.
All right. 2 other guys I want to give you for least valuable
give me-
receiver spot.
give me a couple more.
I think Golden Tate's an obvious one.
Easy.
We already touched on.
Yep.
And then Dez. Crushing me.
Yeah. Another first
Even
round loss.
when he played, he was very bleh.
That's right. It's very sad. And he's got a fibula fracture, so I don't know what he's going to do there. Let's go to tight end. Tight end, number 1, I think, is easy.
Gronk.
It's Gronk.
Right.
It's
Gronk.
no question. And number 2 is easy.
I didn't even have number 2 because I said Gronk was enough.
I think Gary Barnage.
The dog? Yeah, he's fucking
Gary
sucks, man. That
Gary-
pisses me
I
off.
think Gary
He
Barnage,
sucks.
who I still have rostered because
God damn. Actually, you know what? He put up decent, like,
last game,
PPR.
yeah,
past
he
2
had,
weeks.
he had 9
Like-
points.
Like
last
9
week.
points.
You know, I'll
Man,
take that in my tight
We're
end
waiting
spot.
for him to find the end zone.
Oh my god,
He's got to get in.
He was an end zone freak last
He
year.
was an animal.
Oh,
He was an animal. He's got to get back to that.
yeah.
Got to get back to it. Feed
yeah.
Barnage.
Defenses this year have been, I think, generally just been a disaster.
You picked a defense?
Outside
like,
Minnesota. I thought coming in, I think Houston, because of the Watt thing,
Yeah.
has been disappointing.
I'm
They've
not a
been,
big drafter.
I hear you. And they've been run all over too. And any running back you're starting against Houston, you're feeling great.
I think there are also high expectations for the Jets defense.
And that's why I had the number 2.
There is shit.
The Jets defense is right on my spreadsheet
God,
here,
they
folks.
Suck ass. All right. All right. Let's run through the matchups
and then
to wrap up the show. Yeah.
That's right, and we'll take them out.
Okay.
All
Who we
right.
got first?
We got, just a heads up, we got 4 teams on bye if you didn't know. Jacksonville, Kansas City, New Orleans, and Seattle. This is your first very serious bye week, dealing with some of those consequences of trying to fill out your roster. We're going to go from the top. Minnesota at home in that new beautiful stadium against Houston, the underdog, coming off a nice, not a nice win, but a win against the Titans.
Yeah.
6.5 point favorites.
6.5.
6.5.
Interesting.
Yeah, tough.
It's tough because Osweiler's a little turnover prone.
6 interceptions.
Yeah. Minnesota will obviously capitalize on
Freak
that.
defense.
Minnesota's home. I'll take Minnesota. 6.5. If it was 7, I'd have some more little uncertainty. 6.5, I think they could win by a touchdown.
I think so too. It's hard for me to imagine a scenario where the Texans keep themselves in the game. I think Lamar Miller has another high volume but frustrating fantasy point total. Maybe the 8 to 10 points or something like that. He's not breaking out. Schedule softens up after that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Lower scoring game in my mind.
Yes, I could see 2013 something
Something like that.
right?
Something like that. Yeah.
But Bradford's played admirably. He's continued to play admirably.
Yeah.
But great spot for Jerick McKinnon. I have him very highly ranked this week. Again, Houston's been very leaky in that interior without Mr. Watt. So we're all on Minnesota. Next game, Miami at home, though they may not actually be at home.
Right,
They might have
'cause
a
of the
different
hurricane.
day, or they might be in a neutral stadium.
Okay.
I think they'll play. I think the NFL, they've had enough time to plan. But they're 3.5 point favorites against Tennessee, who again just lost to Houston. So their defense is looking a little more suspect.
Yeah. What was Miami's game last week?
They
Who did they
faced
play?
the
You remember?
Bengals on Thursday
They had the
night,
Thursday night game.
and they got ravaged.
Okay,
by AJ Green.
I'm gonna take. This is an easy one for me. I'm taking Miami.
Okay.
They have extra rest,
Okay.
extra time to prepare.
Yep.
Always like teams with that.
Sure.
And they just got embarrassed. Gotta love a team that just got embarrassed, bouncing back.
Okay.
They cover. What do you have for the spread of this?
3.5. That's all I gotta do.
I'll take that. I think Tennessee is a bottom 5 team.
Okay. Even with Murray being so good, yeah. That receiver.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Rashard Mathews got
They're
demoted.
bad.
Andre Johnson's now a starter again at the age
Is
of
Walker still banged up too?
49.
He can still be banged up.
Yeah, he sucks. I'm pissed about that too. So yeah, I agree. I think I'd have to take Miami there. Good colleague, a friend told me this. I won't tell you his name, but he likes Devontae Parker as a DFS play. Relatively cheap, most likely in your daily leagues, and
Big boomer bust guy.
yes, but he likes him to go off this week.
He likes the boom.
Parrish Cox has been nothing but terrible. The second worst cornerback via Pro Football Focus.
That's pretty bad.
And I think Parker will be seeing a lot of Parrish and his Cox.
A lot of Cox. All right.
So, next
so we're
game.
all on the Dolphins.
We're all on the Dolphins. Cleveland at home in Browntown against angry Tom Brady, and the Patriots are still favored by 10.5.
You have 10.5. That line's at 11.5 now on Bovada.
Wow.
Started at 9.5 to begin the week.
Yeah.
So we'll go with the 10.5 spread.
I'm going 10.5.
Wow. In Cleveland, gotta go Pats. I can't bet against them. Can't bet against the Tom Brady return. Can't bet against Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I think Bill does his best to eliminate either Pryor or the running game with Crowell.
Right.
Make them one-dimensional. That's what the Patriots do.
Right.
Don't think Cleveland will be able to score enough points, and I think Patriots will be happy to run up the score in this one.
I agree. As pissed as I am about last week, where I clearly called that, I had a disastrous week. If you followed any of my picks last week, you're an idiot, and you did not do well.
Yeah, it's 16-0ing.
That was
New England awful loss. They're gonna come out.
No,
and
I know,
smoke
I know, and yeah. So big questions for this game is, we still don't know how healthy Gronk is. I think he's still not 100%. But
right. We'll have to see. But he obviously wasn't 100%.
But do
last
you
game.
feel comfortable starting him this week?
I think if you have him, you have to start
You
him.
have to?
Unless you have
But do you start him over? Trying to throw out a name.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
So you picked up Rudolph.
Rudolph, no. What about Cameron Brate? Has a nice matchup against the defense that can't play against
you feel
tight
good
ends.
about starting Brate over?
No, but I'm just saying.
I don't think you can.
I
If
don't-
you have Gronk on your team, you're starting him.
Fine.
Because you spent the first round pick on him, and you can't be an
Sure.
idiot. Okay.
I like LeGarrette Blount still to continue his ways.
We'll see. I think we see a lot of James White this week.
We will see. I'm praying, obviously not.
Running backs caught 25% of Tom Brady's completions
It's a
last year.
great stat. It's a great stat. But I tell you,
25%.
third quarter, fourth quarter, when it's time to ground and pound
Sure,
and run that
yeah.
clock out. So we'll
This
see.
week could be one of those situations where Blunt could get 10-plus carries in the second half.
Okay.
Depending on the game script. All right.
Big week, big show week for Chris Hogan too. A lot of expectations. Now he's actually got a quarterback. Could be the week he breaks out.
We'll see how he clicks with Brady.
I like Malcolm Mitchell personally. I've been waiting on this kid.
Hogan's been on the field a lot more than Mitchell, though.
I know. I completely agree. But I think if you're talking about wide receivers, then it's going to be obviously Edelman, Mitchell, and Hogan. And I think him being the only black receiver on the field,
Okay.
you got it. That's your X right there. That's your guy. Not these scrappy gym rats. I think there's too many of them on the field. Amendola too. Come on, it's the same
They
player.
love
every
those
time.
guys.
No, I'm looking for the big play guy.
Okay. What else?
We talked about this. Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh against the Jets, 7-point favorite. It's Pittsburgh, right? You screwed me last week on the. I think this is the game.
I screwed you.
Think of the game. This is the
I
Jets
screwed
can
you.
win this week.
And you listened.
You screwed me over. Jesus, it was painful watching that game. I was at a bar and I was just like
It was bad.
pacing around the room. It was awful. I ate like an asshole,
Yeah.
and I watched my teams lose. It was a bad week.
Sneaky play, Sammy Coates this week.
Yes.
Catches like an 80-yard bomb.
Glad you brought that up.
And
Sammy
Antonio
Coates is
Brown catches 2.
yes.
Le'Veon Bell has like 140.
140,
from scrimmage.
From script, maybe a touchdown. No, he probably gets poached again.
Could get a touchdown.
I think D'Angelo's getting all the freaking touchdowns.
Somebody else is getting. They're going to score at least 4 touchdowns.
How many points did Pittsburgh score?
Over
35?
I don't know about over 35.
Over
maybe
30,
maybe
34?
ease off the gas at the end.
31, 34
I can see that.
points.
I can see that.
On the Jets side of things, we talked about how much of a disaster it is. The I think notable things is Matt Forte's regression and Bilal Powell's ascension in snaps. Does that interest you?
It does. I think we're seeing similar to what happened last year. There was a certain point in the year where Powell was on the field for just as much game time as Ivory,
Yep.
and it became just as valuable, if not more valuable, certain weeks. I could see they paid the guys the same amount of money.
Yeah.
They could be playing that same strategy where like, oh, we'll hold on to Powell and see how Forte does, and
Yeah.
you know, ease him.
Little
ease Powell.
shocked the transition happened so quick. I think we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was like after, he did what he did
I
against the
think
Bills.
they might favor Powell as the receiving back now.
Oh, I
too.
certainly. I don't disagree that
in
at all.
catch up mode
Yes.
against Seattle, and now
Right. Very good
in
point.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep. Right. You're right.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. Tough game here. B. Moore, who just got bazookaed by my Raiders. They're at home. They're 4-point favorites over Washington. And I got to tell you, I'm taking Washington. And it's not even close.
What makes you so confident?
Because I think that now they're rounding into form.
Washington.
Now Jordan Reed's like, okay, here I am.
Well, I think they finally wised up and they said, okay, we're going to throw the ball to Jordan Reed
Right.
in the red zone. They weren't doing that. They were throwing stupid fade routes to Josh Doxson,
Right.
Chris Thompson, the other guy, Crowder. Reed's the guy. Reed's the guy.
I'm just not a believer in Baltimore. If you streamed Joe Flacco, you thought you wanted to get cute against my Raiders. You thought you wanted, you got screwed over, you big bitch. Because my Raiders stomped him, and it's another.
Flacco did all right last week, though, didn't
Stop
he?
it! Come on,
Put
Steve
up.
Smith had a good game, and not Joe Flacco.
I mean, maybe not on the field.
You're
but he did.
wacko if
He
you
had
started
22 and a half
Joe Flacco.
points last week. Flacco has...
Did he?
Yeah, because he had a rushing touchdown, too.
Oh,
I
that's
think.
BS.
Okay, but
That's
Flacco,
BS.
so far has thrown the ball at least 30 times a game. He's thrown it 33, 45, 40, 52.
Fine. But guess what? Now they have
What?
a running game.
Yeah, they were running.
And anyway, both of them, both him and Rawls and the coach, they've all expressed
They want to throw the ball downfield.
disdain on them.
So we'll see.
But
We'll see.
I guess this, if I'm picking an underdog here, I'm going Wash. I might eat my words for that, but I just don't think Baltimore's that good of a team.
Okay, that's
That's
fair.
it. Detroit and Chicago, man, I want to give you credit. You
Chicago.
did terrible last week, but
I did call this one.
you called Detroit Chicago.
Yeah.
One little factoid, I don't know if you knew.
What?
Chris DeJoria, I got to give him credit on this one. He said, "Yeah, Matt Stafford does terrible against the Bears."
Yeah.
That was he told me, he was like, "Oh no, I would have
Yeah.
taken Chicago all the way." I was like, "Well, F, man." So.
So what do we have this week? We have Chicago against
It's-
the Colts.
It's in Detroit.
Detroit, Chicago.
No, it's Detroit, Philly.
Oh, you're talking Detroit. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
first.
okay.
So it's
Sorry.
Philly's the 3-point favorites, and they're in Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm taking Philly.
and it's not
For
even
me,
close.
this one is pretty easy.
Yeah,
Philly coming off the bye.
right.
Detroit is banged up.
Right.
Well, they're just
Big
Riddick
time.
and Zach Zenner in the
Oh,
backfield.
God, yeah. Yeah,
The Philly defense, I think, is legit.
That's the thing. That's what puts me over the edge.
And the kicker here, the defensive coordinator
Yes.
for the Eagles, Jim Schwartz, used to be the head coach of the Lions.
Redemption game.
Knows Matthew Stafford very
Ah.
well. I think that's a recipe. All those factors are a recipe for success to easily cover the 3-point spread.
Very astute observation on that. I didn't know Jimothy Schwartz was the coordinator.
Jim Schwartz,
That's big. I think for me it's the defense. It's not only is Wentz obviously looking amazing, then they have the prep time, but that defense, they're not scoring against that defense. Come on.
Yeah, defense is good this year. Okay.
So next in Indianapolis, Andrew Luck will host Brian Hoyer against No, that's it. They'll host Brian Hoyer.
Yes, they'll host Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, so 4.5-point favorites.
4.5. Ooh, I have 5 here. I'll take the dogs. I'll take the Bears.
I agree.
The Colts just don't seem like a team to blow anyone out of the water this year.
No,
The defense isn't good enough to stop people.
that's right.
I think Jordan Howard has a nice game.
I agree.
Alshon will see Vontae Davis, but we can also expect an uptick in targets with Kevin White getting put on IR.
That's right.
Hoyer's been very good in his 2 starts.
That's right.
He's a streaming option for me this week.
Yes, and I wanted to raise that up because there's plenty of quarterbacks on bye this week. If you had Russell, Hoyer would be my guy.
Definitely a strong.
I actually wanted him, and my fiance
Uh,
she picked him up instead. So I'm stuck with Ryan Tannehill.
Did she look at your computer?
No, she just did it, and I got really pissed at her this morning, and she was like, "Don't get mad at me. I just woke up," and I'm like,
You get irrationally mad about that kind of stuff.
"Yes, but she screwed me. Like I could lose because of this." So I gotta hope that Tannehill steps up in sense. But yeah, Hoyer I love as a streaming option, and I think after last week you gotta love the Bears keeping with, maybe they don't win the game, but they certainly keep with.
No, they'll hang
keep up with
around, absolutely.
This crappy defense. Tough one here. Denver
Who you got?
in Denver, 5.5 favorites against Matt Ryan's Atlanta.
Denver for me.
Denver for you.
Yeah.
Letdown spot for Matt Ryan.
I think we learned last year that defense wins championships, and you can stop anybody with a great secondary.
That's right.
Like the Broncos have.
Yep.
They've had a little trouble stopping the run here, so I could see Freeman and Coleman having decent games, both running and catching a few balls out of the backfield, because I think the receivers are going to be limited for the Falcons here.
Okay.
I can't see Talib letting.
No, I agree.
Julio run
I'm getting really lucky facing a 4-0 team in CBS, and he has Julio this week. I couldn't have picked a better week to face this kid.
Oh man, yeah, he totally lucked out. There.
That's really lucky for me.
Yeah.
Kevin Coleman, he has a sickle cell trait.
He said
so
he's gonna play though.
He's gonna play.
He's gonna play.
I worry about his conditioning. All I'm saying is, I don't have any Falcons, and I'm really glad because now I don't have to worry. And I think we picked Denver, and I agree. Defense won championships. We're doing that.
Okay.
The 3-1 Rams against the red hot Bills. Bills are the underdogs. They're in LA.
Bills are dogs in LA.
Bills are dogs in LA.
It's always tough. You always worry about teams that are going coast to coast.
I know. I know, Eric.
Rams are hot. I just feel like they're playing a little over their head right now.
This
A
has to
little over
stop.
their head.
This has to stop. And I think it's going to be up to Rex Ryan to stop it.
Rex. Bastard. Yeah, I'll go with Rex and the Bills.
Okay.
Rams got to start turning the ball over in the quarterback situation.
Yeah, Case.
But they're down. Their defense, the defensive front is good. I think their secondary ain't that good though.
That's the thing. It could get beat.
I can see this game being a sloppy game, but I can see it going either way too. This one I'm not too confident on, but I will take the Bills.
If your hand wasn't forced, I would say stay away from it.
Yeah.
But let's root for the Bills this week. Bills Mafia, let's do that. Next game, really. Oh my God, we're finally favored. Aries. 3.5-point favorites in Oaktown against the Chargers, who just lost Jason Verrett. Another devastating injury for the Chargers.
Huge total.
Who, by the way,
51 point.
You say what you want about the offense, but the Chargers cannot win a game. I think Ken Wisenhunt's got to go.
Yeah.
He sucks at just managing a game. They've blown fourth
I think
quarter
their
leads.
coach is McCoy.
Michael McCoy, excuse me.
Wisenhunt is the OC, probably.
Okay.
That's where
Yeah, Michael McCoy. I think that whole regime has to go.
Yeah, it's really mind-boggling how they've lost these games. I think they've blown three fourth quarter leads.
That's absolutely correct, and some of them are double digits, 13 points.
Can't close, and that might just be because their offensive line is banged up once again, and they can't run it effectively with Gordon at the end of these games.
Yeah, my only concern with this game is that because the Raiders' defense is still terrible, and Khalil Mack has not stepped it up, is that San Diego does get a lead.
Yeah.
And that Raiders are
Which they've
catching
done, I think, every game.
Correct.
They've outscored their opponents in the first half by a wide margin,
Yes.
I believe.
So now I've got to rely on the Raiders to catch up, and not only catch up, but they've got to beat them by a touchdown. They can't. Janikowski cannot kick a game-winning field goal.
Okay.
They got to go up by 4
Right.
and win 24-20 or something like that.
Right.
And I don't know if that's
I
happening,
think you might have just swung me over to the Chargers, though.
but I'm still going to go with the Raiders.
Divisional matchup.
Divisional matchup.
Chargers play them tough.
I know.
Going San Diego as the dog.
I'm not going to make it as my star pick, but I have to go Oakland just on principle. And just hope that they just blow them out.
Are you wearing Raiders underwear?
I'm not wearing. I do want to order some. I'm not wearing it though. I'm incredibly hot in this. This is a huge sacrifice for me, guys. I had to keep that fan off because of the noise, but it's a big sacrifice.
Great. You're doing great.
Last 3 games, excuse me. Tight one here. It's basically a pick'em. Dallas in Dallas is the underdog. Cincinnati favored by 8 points.
Yeah, so essentially a pick 'em.
Yes.
Tough one.
Really tough.
But
And I need your help on this. I don't know.
I think it'll be a
what
tight
to
game.
Sure.
It's hard to see any turnovers coming from this game. I think
I
Dalton
know.
can take care of the ball. Dallas's defense is not anything to write home about.
No. Neither the Bengals, though.
I wouldn't sleep on the Bengals defense.
I think they've been ravaged a couple times, though we can both agree there.
I know, but they still have their core of players from the
They're
past.
well coached.
that have
No,
been-
I know. Gino Atkins.
I'm gonna take the Bengals with the extra rest. They have a difference maker, maybe 2 difference makers on offense.
Right.
In Green.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
really,
running back
it's
combination.
probably going to depend on Green this week.
I think
That's
Green
another
will
one of
pop.
my LVPs too. By the way, Gio Bernard has been
he's
outside of
been
that
bad.
Steelers game. He's been
He's been
awful.
And you know what, the
God.
Dallas defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they're just.
Is this team just feeling so good though with Dak? He goes another week without throwing a pick, and which is remarkable,
Yeah.
by the way.
But maybe this is the game. Maybe Cincinnati, with the extra couple days, they figure something out. They get pressure somehow. Even though that line, it seems impenetrable.
Right.
Or at least they can stop the run. And I think they have Vontaze Burfict, their big run-stopping linebacker back.
Yeah.
So maybe he can play a factor. Keep them in 3rd and long situations.
Yeah.
But-
I'm not going to pick this one yet.
You're not gonna pick it.
I'm going to do it on game day. I'm
Okay.
I'm just not going to say anything with Definity
Okay.
right now because I don't know. It's a tough game.
Wait, so who's the favorite? Cincinnati's technically
Cincinnati's
the
the
favorite. I mean, it's a pick 'em, so whatever.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Who's the next one?
Sunday night game on NBC 8:30 with Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. You're going to be watching Green Bay against your New York City Football Giants. Green Bay are 7.5 favorites in the icy tundra of Lambeau Field.
7.5 favorites. Packers coming off the bye.
Yes.
Giants.
And looking spry, by the way. Week 3, they looked good.
Yes.
We had
yes.
complaints after week 2 about are they clicking? They were clicking.
Giants on a shorter week because they played on Monday.
You're absolutely correct.
Also got pretty embarrassed,
Right.
which you know I like.
Yeah, I know you like. I know. Of course. I think it's a breakout game, and
The half point.
that's tough.
I feel like Giants play the Packers pretty tough, and I think they step up, keep this
Just
a
like
one-score game.
traditional playoffs. Amani Toomer on the sideline.
Yeah, Killin might show up.
Man,
The Barbers.
I'm
Who
struggling
knows?
with this, Eric, because the Giants' defense. If they had Eli, apples and pears.
I think you got to pay attention to
The
the
secondary.
secondary.
It's devastated,
because
Eric.
they were banged up last. I think they're
It's
missing 3 or 4
devastating.
guys. They could get healthy. A couple of those guys were questionable last week. See what they're doing this week.
Okay.
Um,
So let's just assume, for the sake of argument, they're as devastated as last week, and the
Yeah.
apples of the world
why are you
don't
making
play.
this harder for me?
That's what she said,
7.5.
or he said.
All right. In that case, if they're still banged up like that, I don't know how the Giants stopped the Packers.
Checking
all
on,
that time.
checking on game day, folks.
Shorter rest.
Yeah, I think they need something back there, or Aaron Rodgers is going to tear their
Tear
assholes
apart.
everyone.
Rodgers looked great.
And Collinsworth is just going to be.
Did the bye come too early for the Packers?
I don't know.
Coming right after the game, they seem to make it all click.
I don't know. I don't know. What I do think is I think Nelson gets in the end zone,
As he has every game.
and I think Lacey gets in the end zone for the first time. He didn't get in the end zone against
What
Minnesota.
about my boy Cobb?
Cobb, I think, continues to disappoint.
Just fucking sucks again.
Just don't think he's good.
So you gotta shuck the Cobb.
Shuck the Cobb,
Alright.
get him off your roster, see if you can get anything for him.
See if you can get Chris Hogan.
So you can get Chris Hogan for him. Do that. And that guy might. That's actually a really good idea. That might work.
Idea? You're
You
selling so low on Randall Cobb.
Sorry,
Okay.
Hogan's on the up and up.
What's the Monday night game?
Monday night game? Carolina, Tampa B.
Yeah.
Carolina 7-point favorites at home. They're in Carolina.
In Carolina.
They just got embarrassed
Yeah, they did.
by the Falcons and Julio
I'm
Jones.
gonna take Carolina.
Taking Carolina.
Pretty confident in that one. Yeah.
Tell me
They're
why.
shaking up the back end. Ron Rivera's getting the guys fired up.
Yeah, open competition at cornerback now because they're so bad.
Tampa Bay. I mean, obviously, what's happening with Cam? What's the update with Cam?
I think it's going to depend on Cameron.
I think he plays.
If he
Yeah.
plays, yeah.
I think he plays. I think he plays. He'll be all right.
But what if Mike Evans does the same thing?
Mike Evans is not Julio Jones, and he's not going off for 300 yards. There's no way they get embarrassed like that 2 weeks in a row. Tampa Bay also not as balanced as the Falcons.
This is a game I would utterly stay away from.
I would probably agree.
Or you?
But I
or-
know, I like Carolina.
You like Carolina. All right, Eric likes Carolina.
Carolina, I can't hop off them yet for whatever reason. I
Fine.
think they still have.
You ain't hopping off that
enough
Carolina D yet.
Tampa Bay hasn't shown me anything to inspire any confidence either this year. What have they? I mean, they still suck too.
Yeah, but they got a good run defense. Although Carolina doesn't rely on that
Carolina's
'cause
not running the ball.
both Whitaker and
the Foz.
and the Foz. No, Foz is Whitaker and Cameron Arden Payne, aka
Yeah.
Cap, have been
Terrible.
awful. They're waiver fodder now. So nice job if you blew any money.
Actually,
on
if you
that.
started Whitaker last week, he had a good game because he caught like 9 passes.
This is true. They're both
Artis Payne, who I said might be better,
sucks.
is really miserable.
He's a
He
disaster.
might have. I think he had like 12 yards last week.
He had 12 yards
That
before
was
they
pathetic.
moved. They moved it over to
That was-
Foz.
Foz.
All
so
right.
does that wrap us up?
Yeah,
for
that'll
week?
do it.
Shout out to Clemson last week as my
Yes.
star pick.
Yes,
We had a great time at the Liberty.
we did have a good time.
with
We
Matt
did.
Vallow.
Yeah.
We all won.
Kenny
that night.
hands over, spilling beer everywhere.
Spilled a lot of beer.
But no one threw up at the bar. That was a win. A lot of people like
Matt might
my.
have snuck some in.
Do you
at
think
some
he
point.
did a little bit
He
of?
could have.
Okay.
He was sitting in the lounge area for a while.
Yeah.
Just kind of like,
Well, what he did was he slammed the table and the beer went all over my fiance.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but she was a great
He
sport.
broke a bottle, too.
He broke a bottle.
Was it
too.
over his head or was it on the floor?
I don't know. For a guy that won the game, I don't think he should have been so pissed. But he was a
I don't
little
either.
stressed. Totally understandable.
But yeah.
Clemson pulls it out. That's what she said. And yeah, it was a great night. No
Great
one
night.
threw up. And everyone loved my Watkins jersey. I think I just repeated myself twice, but I will.
Are you
mention
doing a
that.
star pick to wrap it up?
Yeah,
Is
sure.
that what you want?
Sure.
That's what you wanted from me last week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with very confidently.
Who are you gonna pick? Don't
And
pick mine.
Mind you, I've gotten my star pick wrong 3 times out of 4
Okay.
weeks, so don't take my word for it. Folks. But I love me some. Let me see here. Billy Mays' blue balls. Let me see who I'm going. I'm all on the Steelers this week.
You're all on the Steelers.
Oh man, they are gonna ravage those Jets. And let me tell you something, girl. The Steelers defense is a streamer for me.
Yeah, gotta be a streamer. Okay, My star pick, that was very entertaining. That was good. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
It's getting late.
Yeah, it is. I'm getting a little.
Okay, so if I pick one game, and then I'm going to give you something else too.
Sure.
My one game, I'll go with Philly.
I like that one too, actually.
Philly.
And I might do that
I'm
too.
pretty comfortable with Philly.
Yeah, I like that
But
too.
here's something for the serious bettors out there. I'm going to give you a 2-team 6-point tease, which I think is a stone cold lock.
Okay.
Okay? You tease Pittsburgh from 7 points or even 7.5
Down to
1.5.
Ooh, I like that. That's guaranteed. That's easy.
So even
money.
if they're sloppy,
right,
they still win.
they
this
win
game,
that game.
okay?
Yeah.
And then you'll
no
also
chance.
tease Denver down to a pick'em because I think Denver wins that game,
Wow.
no doubt.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
You like that a lot.
I
right?
like that a lot.
You might have to do that yourself.
Yeah.
I just want you guys.
There you go,
A lot of
folks.
people some money.
Yeah,
out there.
that's
If you listened
nice.
to me last week on Clemson,
Yeah.
you did well.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you, go with the 2-team tease this week.
That's right.
And we'll see where we're at next week. But I think we'll be 2-0 on those.
Okay. And that will do it for us. Once again, follow me on Twitter at Baron Marco. Subscribe to me on the Tube of You. And please, hit us with the likes and the shares and the this and that.
Send us some messages and
Yeah,
questions.
just give me your questions. We want to answer them on the show.
That's
That's right. What do you guys want to talk about? This is your show. So let's do it.
Until next week.
Until next week, which Megan says, she said to me, are you going to be able to do the show? Because you're not watching any football this weekend, so I don't know if you're going to know what's going on. I'll be up in the Finger Lakes, folks,
Finger Lakes.
with my beautiful fiance. Shout out to her. You guys, I'll do the show. I'll know what's going on.
Yeah,
I know what's going
you'll know.
Just, I know what's going on. All right, guys.
Till next time, 3 and out.
We out. 3 and out is out.